thanks for listening. This is Brian Hurley from Business Performance Improvement. The podcast Lean Six Sigma Bursts are short lessons, comments, Q&A, and insights. If you have a question, send your question through the Anchor app, and we might feature you on a future episode. Or contact me at biz-pi.com. This is part 5 of the Clay Jones speech from back in 2006. Again, he was the former CEO of Rockwell Collins, where I used to work. We've got the first 4 parts already available for you to listen on our previous podcasts. And then we'll have part 6 coming up soon. At the end of this section, stay on so you can hear my comments and feedback. Thanks.
Finally, I'd like to address the role of leadership in Lean at Rockwell Collins. A great passion of mine, and I think the key enabler to everything I've talked about that we've done over the last 8 or 9 years. None of the extensive changes I've described have been easy, not a single one of them. And in fact, every one of them required strong leadership to overcome challenges and to change behavior. Let me share several examples of lessons learned that were critical for us. First, make absolutely sure you have alignment at the top, the very top. If leadership isn't driving your lean transformation, don't even start. It's like teaching a pig to talk. You're wasting your time and you're annoying the pig. You need to have senior leaders aligned, and each successive layer of management must be aligned below them. We learned early that heads nodding up and down do not necessarily signify agreement with the direction you're taking. Believe me, if senior leadership is not aligned, everyone will know it, and they'll have every reason in the book to resist the change you're asking them to go through. Second, understand the importance of managing change. From the change I've described, you can imagine the level of activity throughout our entire company. As leaders, we need to determine if we're bringing the organization to its knees or just transforming it right to the breaking point. Bend but don't break was my mantra during this whole thing. Plenty of people, under the guise of being overloaded, will resist change. Leaders must use their judgment to separate fact from fiction and push or encourage the organization as hard as possible, or your efforts will be at best, sub-optimized. To use an analogy, our organization was like that lumberjack who was hard at work day after day, cutting down trees with a dull blade. Like the lumberjack, many of our people felt overworked, but we separated early adopters from resistors, we demonstrated successes, and ultimately we proved that taking time to sharpen the blade made our people and our organization more effective and more efficient.
Let me pause for a moment to tell you about our sponsor, Creative Safety Supply. Creative Safety Supply is a great resource for free guides, infographics, and continuous improvement tools. I recommend starting with their 5S guide. It includes breakdowns of the 5 pillars, ways to begin implementing 5S, and even organization tips and color charts. From red tags to floor markings, it's all there. Download it for free at creativesafetysupply.com/5S.
3, as a leader, don't be afraid of course correction. As I mentioned earlier, 3 years into our journey, we brought in lean experts to give us a report card, and we didn't like what we heard. They spent considerable time with us and provided valuable suggestions for improvement. We then took our education and tools, immersed our leaders in lean, and led the organization in a significantly new direction. 4th, implement value stream mapping first. We made the mistake of implementing random and individual improvements using lean events and tools before we understood the entire value stream. As a result, we improved the wrong things in many instances and weren't as effective as we could have been early in our lean journey. Finally, ask for help. As I mentioned, we've asked for help in the past, and we see great value in belonging to organizations such as LAI, to network, identify better practices, and as a thought partner. Some of our best ideas were derived from other people who are struggling with their own lean journey as we were, and who were graciously willing to share their successes and their failures. When we began our lean journey initially, it was mostly an act of faith. with doubters and cynics in every corner. But because we had a good case for change and demonstrated some initial progress, we were able to prove the value of lean. As a result, lean has become part of the fabric of Rockwell Collins, with believers throughout our enterprise, largely because of the results that they have achieved. And let me give you an example of what they have been doing. Over the last 8 years, from our fiscal year 1997, just prior to starting our lean journey, through fiscal year 2005, which we ended, Rockwell Collins sales have increased by a compounded average growth rate of 9%, from $1.7 billion to just less than $3.5 billion. Net income has increased at a 30% CAGR from $144 million to $396 million. Our current operating margins in both our government and our commercial businesses are greater than 18%. And we have achieved now all-time highs in product on-time delivery, customer acceptance rate, sales per employee, and many of those other scorecard metrics I talked about. The culmination of all of this is an industry-leading return on invested capital of 38% in fiscal year 2005, compared to 21% in fiscal year 2002, the first measured year as a public and independent company. And perhaps the ultimate measure of success is return to our shareowners through stock price appreciation. Over those last 4 years, those full 4 years as a public and independent company, our company has returned a total of 260% shareowner return to our shareowners. Now, is our approach to lean perfect? Absolutely not. Did we come up with a silver bullet for lean? No, we did not. But we have seen lean eliminate waste, improve quality, enhance productivity, provide better value for our customers, help us win programs, improve our financial performance, and yes, even improve morale. But despite our success, we fully understand that the journey, or shall I say, the race, is not over, because the bear is still chasing us, and we're going to have to continue to outrun that other guy. Thank you for your attention, and if we have, I think, some time left, I'd be glad to ask questions.
In this section, Clay covered 5 key things. 1, having senior leadership aligned. 2, managing the change. 3, course correcting when needed. 4, implementing the value stream mapping first. And 5, asking for help. First one, he said it was having senior leadership aligned. I saw an example of that. At least that was the rumor, that one of the leaders in one of the organizations was let go because they really weren't getting on board with a lean program. I'm not sure what the issue was, if that's the exact reason, it's the only reason, but this is such an important initiative, and he brought this in, and he wanted to see that rolled out and successful. And he mentioned that if you don't have that alignment, then that increases the chance of resistance. So we talked a lot about change management, and that was the second piece, managing the change. And he talked about bending but not breaking, so really pushing the organization, challenging them. That's an easy excuse people will give. I'm too busy, I don't have time. I get that in my trainings. I can't come to the class, I got this other project going on. The people that got through certifications, they did it because they were motivated and they made the time. Everyone's always busy. And he said to push them, but not so that they break or quit or want to leave, but knowing that it is a challenge and they got to get out of their comfort zone. Also, like when he talked about fact versus fiction on resistance. So there is legitimate pushback. There is reasons not to do something. And you don't have to say, oh, they're resistant or they're not on board or they're non-compliant, right? It has to do with, are they giving legitimate reasons and do they have other ways we can do it? It's one thing to say, I don't want to do this. I don't have time, versus this is in the way. You've got me on 3 projects. Which one are you going to take off my plate so I can do this? That's not resistance. That's being open, and that's trying to find an alternative, but being realistic and not just saying, I'm going to take this on and do more than I can and burn myself out. That's not the right way to approach it. So resistance isn't bad. Sometimes it's being done because there's other issues that we have to dig into. The third thing he said was course correct. Make adjustments. Bring in outside help. Get some different perspectives. If something's not working, make adjustments. One of the big things that I did at Rockwell was I went to him with another colleague of mine, and we presented data that showed him lean certifications and training is dropping off. This is a problem. We have 3,000 new employees that have come on board who have not gotten any lean training. And he took that serious and he made things happen right away. He assigned someone dedicated to our lean program and we got the momentum restarted. So that's important to hear feedback and make adjustments and say, this isn't working, what else can we do? Fourth thing, implement the value stream mapping first. If you don't do that, you're doing isolated improvements that may not help the overall value stream. You're sub-optimizing improvements. So I concur completely that it's important to do the value stream mapping. It is a big effort though. Sometimes it's easy to say, let's just do a Kaizen over here, make improvements and show people that it works so we can sell them on the bigger one. But I would say take the time and sell them on the bigger initiative. Do the full value stream mapping. It takes effort, it takes a lot of work, but you're gonna gain a lot from that effort. And the last thing he said is ask for help. Bringing in those external resources, getting different perspectives. He presented here at the Lean Advancement Institute or Lean Aerospace Institute, can't remember the name at the time, but that was a group that we were part of that we could go and benchmark and talk to other people and learn. So that was really important. He also shared some really important financial impacts. And I don't know if all of these are directly tied to the Lean program, but I know it's contributed quite a bit to some of these. Sales increased almost double with a 9% year-over-year growth. Net income up 80%. Return on investment capital from 21% to 38%, and the stock price going up 260%. Plus, he mentioned the on-time delivery, customer satisfaction, sales per employee, and things like that that are also important internally and to the customers. Okay, I got one more section. After this, they do a Q&A, so you're going to hear that in our next podcast.
LeanSixSigmaDefinition.com has a list of glossary items about popular process improvement terms, along with the history of Lean and Six Sigma methods, and key influencers like Dr. Edward Stemming, Henry Ford, Taiichi Ohno, Shigeo Shingo, and many more. You can also learn how to access affordable Lean and Six Sigma training and certification. Visit LeanSixSigmaDefinition.com.